Periyava Sharanam. Today we will be learning the second sloka of Soundarya Lahari. Before we learn the second sloka, we will be revising the first sloka by saying it once.
Shiva Shaktya Yukto Yadi Bhavati Shaktah Prabhavitum Na Chedevam Devo Na Khalu Kushalaspanditum Atastvamadhyam Harihara Virinchadibhirapi Pranantum Stotum Va Kathamakrita Punyah Prabhavati.
So before we go into the second shloka, there were a few requests from certain subscribers who said they don't know Sanskrit or Hindi, and it will be very helpful if the whole line is being split into half and being taught. We are now going to do it, and the splitting is only for the purpose of convenience of some of the people who might not understand Sanskrit or who don't know the Sanskrit language. But when doing the Parayanam, it will be better to go with the whole line together. So, this is only for the purpose of learning, and finally, when we do the Parayanam, it will be the whole line together only.
Taniyam sampamsum
Taniyam sampamsum Taniyam sampamsum
Tava charana pankeruha bhavam
Tava charana pankeruha bhavam Tava charana pankeruha bhavam
Virinchis sanchinvan
Virinchis sanchinvan Virinchis sanchinvan
Virachayati lokana vikalam
Virachayati lokana vikalam Virachayati lokana vikalam
Vahatyenam shaurihi
Vahatyenam shaurihi Vahatyenam shaurihi
Kathamapi sahasrena shirasam
Kathamapi sahasrena shirasam Kathamapi sahasrena shirasam
Harasam kshudyainam
Harasam kshudyainam Harasam kshudyainam
Bhajati bhasidodhulana vidhim
Bhajati bhasidodhulana vidhim Bhajati bhasidodhulana vidhim.
Now we will recite the whole sloka.
Taniyam sampamsum Tava charana pankeruha bhavam Virinchis sanchinvan Virachayati lokana vikalam Vahatyenam shaurihi Kathamapi sahasrena shirasam Harasam kshudyainam Bhajati bhasitodhulana vidhim.
Taniyam sampamsum Tava charana pankeruha bhavam Virinchis sanchinvan Virachayati lokana vikalam Vahatyenam shaurihi Kathamapi sahasrena shirasam Harasam kshudyainam Bhajati bhasitodhulana vidhim. Taniyam sampamsum Tava charana pankeruha bhavam Virinchis sanchinvan Virachayati lokana vikalam Vahatyenam shaurihi Kathamapi sahasrena shirasam Harasam kshudyainam Bhajati bhasitodhulana vidhim.
In the first shloka, we saw that Only those who did some good deeds or meritorious deeds during their lifetime will have the opportunity to even praise her, to salute her, or learn something about her. This is because even the Trimurtis, the Shiva, Vishnu, and Brahma, are saluting her. They get their power only from her, is what is established. Even in Lalita Sahasranama, there is a Nama for Ambal which says Hari Brahmendra Sevita, which means even Hari, Brahma, and other devatas are saluting her or they are falling at her feet. In the same way, Parameshwara also salutes her, is established by the Nama Shivaradhya. Such is the greatness of Ambal and her lotus feet. Actually, it is very, very difficult to even say the greatness of those divine feet. We may try to describe at least the greatness of the minute dust that is there under her lotus feet. Only that can be done. At least that we can try. But it is very difficult to even try to describe the greatness of her lotus feet. From this, we have to understand the magnitude of that greatness of her lotus feet. That is why great poets and big devotees and Shakti Upasakas of Ambal always say they just want to have a second glimpse of her lotus feet. So such is the importance and such is the greatness of her feet. So we cannot try to even think about describing it, but we can at least think and try to describe the importance and greatness of the dust which is there, which is under her feet. That is what Adi Shankaracharya has tried to describe in this second shloka. The first line is Taniyamsam Pamsum Tava Charana Panke Ruha Bhavam. Taniyamsam Pamsum. We can say it is minute, very minute dust. You cannot see it by your eyes, with your naked eyes or something like that, which is very microscopic, very, very, very tiny little particles is what is meant here. Then, Tava Charana. Tava Charana is your feet. So, the microscopic dust that falls out of your feet. Panke Ruha Bhavam. Here, Panke Ruham means lotus. So, Panka is a small water body. You can say a place where the water has got stagnated. And in such places, you can find lotus. In only such ponds and lakes where there is a stagnant water, you find lotus. And because it grows in that pankam, it is called pankajam. It grows in the stagnant water or the pond, and that is why it is called as pankajam. Now in Lalita Sahasranamam, if you see, there is a nama Samsara Pankha Nirmagna Samudharana Pandita, where pankam is used to denote the pool of life. Sometimes we say as samsara sagaram. The same way here, it is samsara pool. Or because we can say it as a pool because it is so stagnant, it is full of weeds and other things. So that way, here life or samsara is referred to as a pool or a small lake which is stagnant. And Ambal is the only savior who can get you out of this pool. Before you are being drowned inside this pool of samsara, Ambal is the only savior is what this nama in Lalita Sahasranamam denotes. Pankeruham or Pankajam here is used to describe the divine feet of Ambal. A kind of an adjective to her divine feet is said here. Taniyamsam Pamsum Tava Charana Pankeruha Bhavam. The very, very, very minute or very microscopic dust that is under your lotus feet. This is the meaning of the first line. We go to the second line. Virinchihi Sanchinvan. Virinchihi, we have seen it in our last sloka itself. It means Lord Brahma. Sanchinvan means searching and gathering it, collecting it. He is somehow trying to collect it. What he is trying to collect? He is trying to collect the dust that is under the feet of Ambal. So what for he is doing it? What for he is collecting it? What is the use of collecting and gathering it so carefully? Virachayati lokana vikalam. In this, some people say it as vikalam and some people say it as vikalam. There is not much of a difference in Sanskrit language in the letter la. It can be pronounced as la or la. Coming to the meaning, virachayati. Rachayati means to create, to bring something into existence, to create something, to write a poetry or something like that, we can say. Virachayati means, if you add a V means, it is something like special. You are creating something very special. What is he creating? Lokana vikalam. Here it is specified in plural, not just one loka. It is given as many lokas in plural form. Loka means the world. Lokan means it is in plural, so not just one. It is very interesting to note that in Sanskrit, for eyes we have a word called lochanam. This is the root for the English word look. Lochanam is eyes, and it is only through our eyes we are able to see or look. And whatever we look is what is lokam. Avikalam means it is done in a perfect order. So Brahma creates many lokams or many worlds in a perfect order. Some kind of an underlying principle, underlying basis or underlying rules, Brahma has created so many worlds, is what it is being said. In Lalita Sahasranama, Leela Klipta Brahmanda Mandala. Ambal creates, protects and does everything as a Leela. But even in that Leela, just like play, Leela means it's play. So even in that Leela, there is an underlying structure, an order and a principle under which all these things are done. That is why it is Leela Klipta Brahmanda Mandala. So just like, your boss, the subordinate will also be like that. So the boss is Ambal here. She wants everything to be done in proper order, with proper structure, properly disciplined. And Brahma, who is a subordinate to her, who prays to her, will also be like that. Virinchi Sanchinvan Virachayati Lokana Vikalam. So the role of Brahma as a creator is given in this line. How does Brahma create? He goes and he searches for the dust or the minute particles of dust which fall from the feet or lotus feet of Ambal. He goes and gathers it, and with that he specially creates. There's so many lokas of this universe or Brahmanda. This thing is beautifully given in Lalita Sahasranama by the terms Janani, Aneka Koti Brahmanda Janani. Aneka Koti means crores and crores of Brahmandas or lokas is created, and she is the mother of such Brahmandas, is what is given. If we go one step further, Aneka Koti Brahmanda Janani is one. Abrahma Kita Janani is another nama. That is, from Brahma to even the smallest insect or smallest organism, she is the Janani or she is the mother. So Brahma very well knows that she is the Adi Shakti or the core or the Moola Vastu, and only from her these worlds can be created. Now we say we create, we do something, we create something. We have to understand that nothing is created new, because we are only saying something that is already there in a new form. So you cannot create anything new, because everything has already been created. Just like Krishna Paramatma says, whatever you are taking is something that you are taking from here. You are not taking something new. So if a scientist says he is creating something, there has to be a core matter, something on a base from which he is creating something. Brahma here, in the same way, he understood that she is the core matter, or she is the real underlying matter from which anything can be created, and he is using the dust or the very minute particles of dust that are falling out of her feet. Now a question arises, how did Brahma get that dust? The answer is in the first shloka, where the poet says that Hari, Haran and Brahma all are falling into the feet of Ambal. That is when Brahma collects the dust that comes out of the lotus feet of Ambal. Now we'll go to the third line. Vahatyenam shaurihi kathamapi sahasrena shirasam. Vahatyenam. Vahati plus enam. Vahati means carrying it or shouldering it. Enam is this. That is the lokas created by Brahma. So who is carrying the lokas created by Brahma is Shaurihi, the one who has come from the Shura Vamsha, or Lord Krishna, who is the incarnation of Mahavishnu. This word Shauri can denote to anyone who comes in the clan of Shaura Vamsha, not just Krishna. Krishna came in this Vamsha, so we can consider that it is denoting Krishna. But anyone from this clan can be called as a Shaurihi, not just Krishna. But why has Adi Shankara specially used this word Shaurihi is to be noted. Even Balarama, who is the brother of Krishna, is also from the same clan. So he can also be called as Shauri. Balarama is the incarnation of Adisesha. Sometimes we even say that Adisesha and Mahavishnu are the same. So Adisesha is itself Mahavishnu. Now, assuming that Adisesha is also an incarnation of Mahavishnu, Adisesha has 1,000 heads. So Adisesha or Mahavishnu has 1,000 heads, and how Mahavishnu is carrying this world that has been created by Brahma from the dust that he has collected from the lotus feet of Ambal is given here. How does the Vishnu carry this world? Kathamapi. Somehow he is struggling and he is somehow able to carry it. That is what Kathamapi means. Sahasrena Shirasam. So Mahavishnu has 1,000 heads. That is what is told even in Purusha Suktam. So with his 1,000 heads, somehow Mahavishnu manages to carry in the sense he is the protector. So he protects, or he is taking or shouldering this worlds in his 1,000 heads. How does he get that power? That power also he gets it only from Ambal. We saw it in the last shloka. All Brahma, Vishnu, Shivan, everyone are falling under her feet and saluting her to get their power. Here another meaning can also be implied when we say that he is protecting or he is carrying the worlds in his head. There is a saying in Tamil, Talaila Thuki Vichinda Adradhu, which literally means you are keeping something on your head and dancing. Why? Because it is very priceless to you or very, very important to you. That is why you keep it on your head and dance, is what we say in Tamil. If we think of it in this way, Mahavishnu is somehow, he is trying to protect all these worlds by carrying it on his 1,000 heads, because he considers these worlds to be very, very important, because it is made out of the core matter, which is Ambal's lotus feet dust. We will see the last line now. Haraha samkshuddyainam. While reading together, it becomes Haras samkshuddyainam bhajati basito dhulana vidim. Haraha is Shivan or Parameshwaran or Maheshwaran, but here he is referred to as Haran because the role of a destroyer is assumed here. Samkshuddyainam. Samkshudya enam. That is making it into a very, very fine powder. Converting it into a fine powder. Bhajati means something like doing a bhajan or a puja, or the time when we do our anushtanas, observing some anushtanas. The next words are bhasito dhulana vidhim. He is smearing himself with those ashes according to the vidhis. That is why vidhim is coming there. So he is smearing his whole body with those ashes according to the correct procedures or the correct ways how it has to be done. Haran, who is the destroyer, destroys all these worlds that has been created by Brahma from the dust of Ambal's feet, which is being protected or carried on by Mahavishnu with his 1,000 heads, and he smears these ashes throughout his body according to the correct procedure or rules. That is the meaning of the last line. Generally, Parameshwara is seen wearing bhasma. Even in his Ashtotra Namavali, there is a line, Bhasmo Dhulita Vigrahaya Namaha, which means he is adorned fully of bhasma. So what is the bhasma that he wears? It is the very fine dust which is found under the lotus feet of Ambal. Such is the importance or greatness of the dust that is found under the feet of Ambal. We will finish the session with finally reciting the whole sloka once.
Taniyam sampamsum tava charana pankeruha bhavam virinchis sanchinvan virachayati lokana vikalam vahatyenam shaurihi kathamapi sahasrena shirasam haras samkshudyainam bhajati bhasidodhulana vidhim. Periyava Sharanam.